We're down to our last two problems. First one, what is the equation of this line? Okay, now, we're more used to seeing an equation and graphing it, but this actually can be easier, because here's the thing. The equation of the line looks like this. What two pieces of information do I need? I need this number, the slope, and I need this number, the y-intercept. Right? So I'm basically just filling in the blanks here. I'm going to have a y equals a number times x plus a number. Right? This is going to be, and I'm actually not going to write the plus sign because sometimes it's negative, right? So, but this is my sort of formula, right? I need to figure out the y-intercept and figure out the slope. Well, the y-intercept is a little bit easier, so let's start with that. Here's the y-axis. Where does my line intercept the y-axis? Where do they hit? Right here. So what's that number? It's a positive 2. So my y-intercept is plus 2. And now the only thing I have left to figure out is the slope. Well, I know slope. Slope is rise over run. Right? So if I was graphing this line, I'd be like, okay, well, my y-intercept is at 2. Now how much do I rise and run? And well, what I notice is, what I need here is to find another point that's sort of on the grid lines, right? Like this point, it hits the lines right where there's like where the two lines cross, right? Like this. I don't want, like this point, for example, is not useful to me because it's just right in the middle of all the grid lines. So let's find another point that hits the grid lines, right? Not here, not here, oh, here we go. This point here, it lands right on grid lines. So let's see, what's the rise and the run here? Well, in order to get from here to here, I'd have to rise 1 and run 1, 2, 3, 4. So my rise, and you can sort of draw a triangle to help you see it. My rise is 1 and my run is 4. My rise is 1 and my run is 4. So what's my slope? It's 1/4. So this is 1/4 x plus 2. That's your answer. Okay, that's the equation of the line. And so go ahead and pause and try this one first. Ask for help if you need it, right? Remember, you just need the slope and the y-intercept. So start by writing this so you can really see it and come up with the equation for this line. Okay, so pause now and do that. Now here, this problem is long and it seems way, way harder, but actually it's kind of similar to this problem, which is we need to write an equation of the line. We're being asked for the same thing. So I'm going to actually put this at the bottom, this y equals mx plus b, because it sort of comes at the end of my problem. But it's actually the same deal, right? I need the same two pieces of information. I need the slope, and I need the y-intercept. I need those two pieces of information. And if I can find those two pieces of information, now I can just fill in the blanks and have my equation, right? My blank and my blank. So what I have is 2 points. So I'm actually going to start by finding the slope. Okay, and really take careful notes here, because when you go to try it, your careful notes are going to really help you. Okay. Now remember, slope is the sort of formula for slope is change in y over change in x. We want to know how much is the y value changing and how much is the x value changing. And so what I can do is, to make it easier for me to see, is I can just write these points sort of in a table. Right, here's my x value and my y value. So this is x value and y value. Here's my x value and my y value. X value and y value. So I want to know, how much do they change? Well, to get from 2 to 0, how much does that number change? Well, first of all, I notice it goes down, right? To go from 2 to 0, it's going down. So it's actually going down, which is negative. And it's going down 2, right? If I were on a number line, and I'll just use this number line here, right? Here's 2, and if I were to go down to get to 0, I'd go 1, 2. I'd go down 2. Well, so the change in x is negative 2, excuse me. What would I have to do to get from negative 3 to positive 3? What would I have to do in order to change from negative 3 to positive 3? Well, again, let's just look at the number line. Here's negative 3. Here's positive 3. Well, I'd have to go up, right? I can see I'd have to go up how many spaces? Well, I'd have to go 1, 2, 3 up to get to 0, and another 1, 2, 3 up to get to 3. So that's a total of 6 up, so positive 6. Oops, sorry. So then when I use this sort of formula, change in y over change in x, the change in y is 6, and the change in x is negative 2. And so 6 divided by negative 2, is -3. So this is my slope. I'm done with my slope. And look, I'm going to go back down to the bottom where I wrote this, and I'm going to put in my slope right now. I'm going to erase my little blank. I'm going to fill in my slope right now. Now, look, I'm still missing the y-intercept, so I need to go back and find the y-intercept. So I'm going to do that here, and here's how I'm going to do it. My equation is going to be y equals mx plus b, and I actually already have some information. I have the slope, so I'm going to plug in the slope where it belongs, and then I'm going to plug in, I actually have an x and a y that I can plug in, and when I plug it in, then I'll have just a bunch of numbers and only one variable, only one letter left over, and that'll be the b. So I'm going to choose a point to plug in. I can actually choose to plug in this x and y or this x and y. One or the other, though. You have to choose this whole point or this whole point. And when I look to choose, I look for the easier one. So, for example, this is a negative, this doesn't. This has a 0, right? Zeros are really easy to plug in. So I'm going to plug in this point. It's just easier. It's not that I'll get the same answer if I plug in this, but might as well do the easy way. So here I notice y is 3, so I'm going to plug in 3 for y. So it's y equals m, I already put that, times x, which is 0, plus b. So now let me do the math. -3 times 0 is just 0. So this ends up being really easy to solve because that kind of cancels, and this is 3 equals b. What does b represent? B represents my y-intercept, right? B always represents my y-intercept. So I'm done. I got my slope already, and this is my y-intercept. So I'm going to erase that blank. I'm going to write plus 3, and I'm done. That's the equation of my line. Okay, now use this work, right? Use your example and neatly try this problem.